Hi guys. I just finished watching the Djokovic match playing Taylor Fritz in Monaco, and for those of you that didn't have the chance to see it, it was well, it was what I expected. To be honest, the score was 6-2, 6-0. Djokovic, sorry about Djokovic beat Fritz, and hey baby, thank you, mom. I love you too. I love you too. And well, I want to go through some notes that I got to that I made about that match. And the first one was that if you remember, Fritz beat Schwarzman yesterday, and we talked about that. That was a good match to analyze. I was pretty surprised, very surprised to be honest. And the truth is that I didn't expect Fritz to do too much, to do very well against Djokovic today, because Djokovic is just, it's, Schwarzman, it's a really good clay court player, but of course, Djokovic is just rock solid, pretty much on any surface. But of course, I mean, obviously, clay's got to be probably his, I think that a hard court is probably his best surface. Clay and grass will come last. But anyways, I want to talk a little bit about Fritz, what he did today. And one thing I noticed is that first thing I was wondering, where are the rest of the Americans? How come they're not playing this tournament? I know that some of them played Houston, but Houston was last week, and I always I never really see many of the Americans playing Monaco, and I wonder why. I don't know if they're in their schedule. They kind of want to take this week off and then start in the next week, whatever the tournament is, the next clay tournament. But I think this is a really good. This will be a really good um, training tournament for them. I know that I have the idea that a lot of them don't want to. I don't know if they don't want to play it because they feel like they're risking getting beaten badly, like Fritz did. But you know what? That's I admire that. I admire. I knew. I'm pretty sure that Fritz knew that he was exposing himself to something like that to happen. Say, hey, you know what? I'm probably gonna advance one round, and then I probably lose on the second round. And if I play one of the good guys, well, I'm exposing myself to be for a beat down. But that's good. I mean, they need that. They I always say that everybody people talk about like don't focus on negativity, and really that's not the case. You got to focus on your negativity, all of it, because only knowing everything that you're doing wrong is where you're gonna know. Okay, now that I know all the crap that I'm full of, all the stupid stuff that I'm doing. Now I know where I'm gonna have to work. So yes, you gotta focus on all of your negativity. Just put it out there, everything, look at it, and then from there you can start working on how to turn things around. And that, you know what, hats off to Fritz for doing that. I think that that's something that, for someone that is young, and that is, to me, that's someone, the mentality of someone that is young and is having his mindset on improving his clay court game, and that's good. Now, one of the things that I noticed on that I made notes on Fritz game today against Djokovic was that he was trying to hit through. He was kind of playing Djokovic with the mentality of the hardcore player, of the American player, which is usually the hardcore player, or let's say it not usually. It's pretty much the all Americans have hardcore mentality. I really don't see one American that I can say, okay, this guy has a variation like the Latinos or like the European guys, that they know how to move. They have much better balance. They have more variation on the game, and they use the court a lot more. They use, like I mentioned in the video yesterday. You gotta think of the court as you have no man's land and the two service boxes, and you got it's like, okay, you gotta, instead of no man's land, I like to think like you have two service boxes back there as well. So you have four service boxes on the court, so you can choose your corners close to the net or far deep on the baseline, and and Europeans and Latinos, because they grow up on clay, they know how to use more. They more those slices, the drop shot, the deep shot, they kind of have moon ball, high ones, high balls going deep, bouncing like Nadal, Casalo play. And I don't see that on Americans. That's the thing. I really don't see that on any American. And that's and I'm not trying to I'm not trying to say that Americans cannot do it. I'm just saying they don't have it in themselves because they didn't grow up playing on clay. That is something that happens to you when you grow up on clay. It just happens naturally. This just happens completely natural because you on clay ever since you're a kid. You can tell that you cannot really hit through every opponent that you play. You gotta prepare the point. You can hit through, but only when you prepare the point, moving the guy around. But you're not gonna, unlike clay hard court where you can hit a guy through. I mean, if you can hit shots that are probably just 10 feet away from you, or even 7 feet away from you, and you have no chance of getting to those. Even five, even 4 3 4 feet away from you, a fast shot fast shot on hard court. Many times you have no chance to get those shots, and that doesn't happen on clay. So Fritz was trying to hit from the baseline, trying to hit through Djokovic, and when you're trying to do that against a guy that moves the best in the tour, it's gonna be difficult. And then you're doing that when the day is windy and on clay. So what are your odds? Pretty much none. And another thing is that he was trying to do that when he was too far back from the baseline. I understand you trying to do that when you're on the baseline or you're 2 or 3 steps inside the court. Okay, go ahead and do it. Try it. If you're not gonna hit through the guy probably, but at least you're gonna get him on balance, and it's gonna be a 1-2 shot. Like, get him on balance. He's gonna get that shot even shorter for you to put it away. So that's good. But he was trying to hit too hard and too far, because on hard court you can get away with it, not on clay court. No variation at all. I mean, no variation at all. No slices, no drop shots, no angles, no banana shots, no using the 4 service boxes on the side of the court, or Djokovic side of the court. No using that at all. It's just the same. Again, we're going back to the same thing. It's just the same hardcore mentality of the guy that can hit through, and the guy can get away with just raw power, and that doesn't happen on clay. And about on his serve, his clay court against the best returner on the game, the fastest player on the game probably, on clay on a windy day, and he's serving the same way, Fritz trying to overpower Djokovic with the serve. When you're playing in those conditions, when you're playing on clay, when you're playing a guy that returns pretty well, or is fast, moves very well, makes a lot of shots back on the serve, when you're playing bad conditions like windy conditions, anything like that, you're not gonna get away with power unless you're someone like Isner or Query or Ivo Karlovic, like a super massive big guy that can hit that serve like that. Well, you probably do it, but if not, you got to move the ball around. That's one super powerful reason to think. Again, you got to learn to hit those slices and heavy spins and move. Use the whole service box, moving that ball around. Remove from your head, and in those situations, you got to remove from your head the idea that, well, I would say in any situation, if you really want to develop a good serve, and this is another thing. This is very common in the player that grows up playing hardcourt all the time. And hardcourt, to me, hardcourt for those kind of players is just means power, no variation. So when I say hardcourt, that's what I want you to think about. When you play in those conditions, you have to learn to use the whole service box. You have to learn all that variation, and you have to think of, do not worry about the other guy making the serve back. You have to worry more about the other guy getting him off balance and preparing the point with his return. Meaning, your serve and then the next shot you make a good serve, a wide serve, let's say, and he barely gets to that ball and he plays it back, and he's gonna give you that shot, probably kind of floating shot or just slicing it, or very weak shot towards more, probably you're already get to move inside the court 2 or 3 steps, probably even as short as the service line, and then that's the shot that you're gonna either put away, or you're just gonna make that shot where you're gonna hurt the guy again and he's just gonna give it to you. But many times it's gonna be a one good serve, two. See, it's the 1-2. That's what I call the 1-2 from of boxing, 1 and 2, down and up. Well, you do the same thing. You prepare the point and then you put it away. Sometimes you prepare the point and then you hurt the guy to the other side and then he's just gonna give it to you. So if you really want to improve yourself, don't let the hardcore mentality of I gotta hit a bomb and hit through this guy. He's got to miss the shot. No, just get the guy off balance, get him to give you a shot, a return that you're gonna be able to take advantage of, and then you can do the 1-2. And sometimes it's gonna be a 1-2-3, but that 1-2, that 3, that third shot that he's gonna hit back is pretty much just like giving it to you, like literally just giving the ball and boom, just put it away, anywhere you want. Now, if you have a good 1-2, like this first serve, and then the next shot you make a good shot, 1-2, and you know the third shot is gonna be an easy one, and you're still on the baseline, or at least you're not preparing to move forward towards like service line or something like that, then you're allowing the guy to leave. You're allowing the guy to recover many times. So a lot of times that 1, 2, and 3 is gotta be you already at the net. So you don't want to extend that point. You don't want to give the guy any chance of making it back into the point. So that was one thing that I noticed Fritz was doing, trying to serve his way, making Djokovic, hoping that his power will overcome Djokovic, and well, of course, that didn't happen, And I think that I think that the one thing that we can gain from today's match is that you cannot transition from hardcore to clay with a hardcore mentality, with a hardcore mindset, because they're going to destroy you. You got. That's why it's so important, and I insist, kids, American kids. I don't see any of the up and coming Americans. Really, I don't see any of them. I know the guys are really good, like Chaffo, and some. I'm probably missing someone else, but he's the one that he's been doing well lately, and I want to see him on clay. That's why I want to see him here, because to me, to say that an American kid is going to have a real chance of being a star in the future, I gotta see him on the clay court doing well. I don't want to see him doing well, on in the U.S. Open and doing well in Australia. But when clay comes, they just don't do nothing or do very little, or just do well in one tournament and then the next 2 or 3 tournaments don't do well. They got to be consistent in all of them, in all the surfaces. That's to me that's the only proof that a kid, it doesn't matter where they come from, has a good chance of doing well in the future. And I don't see that in American kids, unfortunately. I wish, and again I say, I think like Gilbert said, I believe that all the junior tournaments in the United States should be 60% hard court, 40% clay, or at least 65% hard court, 35 clay. If your kid is not playing at least 35 to 40% clay matches and training on clay throughout the year, he's gonna the moment that he's gonna have an anytime that he plays a European kid or a kid from Latin America, he's gonna have the he's probably gonna be hitting the load with he's probably gonna have a lot of power on his game, but he's not gonna have the balance, and he's not gonna have the variation, and he's not gonna have the patience that these guys have, because they have to build the point. They have to play more like chess for them, and for the Americans, I feel like it's not really like chess. It's more like heavyweight boxing, like boom, 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 and gone. So that's one thing, and the transition from hardcore to clay, the transition from clay to hardcore, physically and mentally, is much easier. The transition from hardcore to clay, I mean, I think that throughout the years, that I think Agassi was the last American that won the U.S. Open. That just tells you how difficult it is. I mean, just cannot compare. And if you have a kid, if you have a kid that is playing tennis, and you really want him to improve his game, especially he's having problem with his balance. Well, with a lot of things, he doesn't have the patience, he doesn't have the consistency, he doesn't have the variation, all those things. Well, get him to play on clay. Get him to play on clay, where he's gonna have to have the patience to play the long points, where he's gonna have to use the slices, where he's gonna have to use the drop shots, where he's gonna have to. A lot of people think that he's not gonna have to volley much, but the truth is that if he's a good player, he's gonna have a lot of short balls that he's gonna be able to slice and move forward, or hit and move forward, and then he's gonna find himself bowling too. So let's just get that, okay? All right, guys. Well, I hope you like it, and give me a like, subscribe to the channel. Just go start, be center, bold, perseverant, and I'll see you next time. Thank you.